Here's a way to increase personal power. First, become aware that we live in a body, we have a soul, but we are a spirit. This is what makes us the most powerful human being, is being aware that we're all three parts. I'm Tonayh Dee. I'm a registered dietitian, and this month's theme for Feeding Body, Soul, and Spirit is personal power. We all desire personal power. It's natural. We want the power to overcome our obstacles, the power to remain calm and peaceful. We want the power to pursue our dreams. We want the power to take care of ourselves and others. But we can lose our personal power. And what we need to do to continue to increase our personal power is we have to have the ability, one, to maintain our energy. Also, to maintain our integrity, the integrity amongst and in between our body, soul, and spirit. The integrity means really knowing our values and sticking to them and living them. We have integrity in what we value and what our actions are. So another way we can really increase our personal power is to seek our authentic path, to know our truth. So let me give you some tips on little things we can do in body, soul, and spirit to increase and maintain our personal power. It's so important, especially under periods of intense pressure or change. So let's talk about the body. We all know, we've all experienced, we all have a life force that makes us feel alive inside of our body. But we've also all experienced, I'm sure, this feeling of when our life force gets drained and we feel depleted and energyless, unable to maintain our values and seek our path. So it's really, really important to listen to our body. It'll give us signals as to what increases our life force and what decreases our life force. It may be a certain food that increases or decreases your life force, a certain habit, a certain person. And it's really important that we really try to avoid those things or limit those things that decrease our life force, because we won't have the energy to really tap in to our personal power. So in our soul, it's so important that we develop self-trust. And for me, this is trusting my soul. So our soul very often actually works through our body and will give us messages, because our soul is our mind, our emotions, and our free will. These messages often can come through our body to tell us, hey, this is decreasing my life force. And the more we can listen to our soul about what things decrease our life force, the more we'll develop self-trust. When we listen and we minimize those things, we're beginning to increase the trust we have for ourselves, because we're really taking care of ourselves on a deep, powerful level. Another way that we can increase self-trust is to create a vision. What is it? Become very clear about what you really want. And this can change, but what do you really want right now? And then what do you really want right now? What do you really want right now? Continue to create a clear vision for your life and take the small steps necessary to accomplish that vision, and you'll increase your self-trust. So let's talk about the soul and how sometimes the soul can sabotage us. So we really need to be clear about the ways our soul's actually trying to help us. So we want to listen to our soul. In the mind, our mind's always solving problems. I'm sure you're all aware of this. It's like it'll ruminate on this problem or on this problem, or there's like one problem it's always ruminating on. The thing is, our mind wants us to solve a problem. So solve it. That's my tip, is if your mind is constantly thinking about this one thing, my finances, my finances, my finances, then solve whatever issue is in that, whatever your mind's trying to solve. Take some action and solve it. What can decrease our life force in the area of our mind is really trying to solve other people's problems. We have enough issues and problems in day-to-day life to take care of our own issues, and have the energy to take care of those issues. We really don't have enough energy to take care of everybody's problems. So try definitely to focus on your own problems first and be understanding about that everyone out there is trying to solve some problem in their life, and we need to allow them to solve it so they can increase the self-trust in their own life. So in our emotions, one of the areas that will really decrease our life force is when we have an emotional buildup. So it's important to have emotional clarity about what we're feeling, even about what we felt in the past, maybe even what we feel about something that might happen in the future. The more we can have real specific clarity around our emotions, the more that emotion won't get stuck in our body. So we don't want to numb or push down our emotions. We want to really lean towards them and try to get clear about what the emotion is. Now, in that, hold that thought, because what I ended up doing is developing what are called emotional clarity cards. And they're decks of 54 different emotions. There's a group, a male and a female. And the card has a graphic design of the emotion. This one's hopeless. On the front and on the back, it has definitions and the opposite. And I use these cards. I go through hopeless, helpless, guilty, grief, frustrated, and I figure out exactly what I'm feeling. Oh, I'm feeling embarrassed. That way, I'm all of a sudden clear with my emotion, and I'm able to do something about it. I'm able to solve it. I'm able to take an action. I'm going to increase the self-trust that I have, because now I know what I'm feeling. I'm feeling embarrassed. And this is just the first step of getting the emotion out of your body, because emotions have an energetic frequency that can disrupt your life force. So once we identify it, allow it, embrace it, process it, it releases out of our body, and we can return to having more personal power, more life force. If you're interested in my emotional clarity cards, please contact me at Tonayh@yawlight.com. We'll leave a link at the bottom, and we'll send you how you can get these emotional clarity cards. Now, in our will, this is our free will. Our free will is where we have these desires, the desires to overcome, the desire to solve our problems, the desire to have a lot of energy or a lot of power. So one of the things I really recommend is our will is where we make choices and take action. So we want to take action. We don't want to hide under a rock. We don't want to numb, because all of those things are going to take away our personal power and take away our life force. So you can always try something new. So it could be this year you're going to try abstinence because you realize something is taking away your life force. Or this year you're going to try to join some faith-based group. Or this year you're going to do a spiritual practice. Take an action. And action and movement really increase your life force, even if it's a risk, even if it doesn't work out. You're going to learn something about yourself along the way, and your soul is going to be like, oh, she's doing something, he's doing something. That's going to increase your self-trust, and that also will increase your personal power, because you'll understand what paths work for you, what paths don't. So don't be afraid to take new action in different areas. That's really going to increase your personal power and increase your life force. All right, so the last part is spirit. And if we're disconnected from our spirit or God's spirit, we're basically going to be living kind of a spiritually dead life. Sounds morbid, but the spirit is where a higher power is. So we always want to be connected to spirit. And what this means is there's a deeper part of us, our spirits in our heart, and we want to be able to always stay connected to that. That's where wisdom, strength, power, really, this is where that's located, is in our spirit. And our spirit works through our soul and through our body. So the spirit will work through our emotions and our mind. Our spirit will work through our body. So if we're aware that there's this higher power that we can always tap into, that will really help us with our internal personal power. So the goal is to always be looking for aspects of the spirit. How can you connect? One way you can connect with spirit is through our breath, our spirit and breath. This is where spirit can work through us, is through our breath. So just knowing how to breathe calmly and relaxed is personal power in every situation. If you can turn to your breath and just be really relaxed about it and really conscious, you're not holding your breath, you're breathing in, you're breathing out. That's one way to stay connected powerfully to spirit. Another way is to listen to the still small voice of the spirit and then take the risk to obey what you hear. This is a way we can really increase our personal power. It's the still small voice speaks to just us individually for our own path. And when we take the risk to obey this voice, it increases self-trust, it can solve our problems, it can clear out our emotions, it'll increase our life force. It really helps us to work through it. So be obedient to that voice and see where this takes you in your life. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful. We all want more power. Our soul is so hungry for power, and we get that power from the spirit. So always be surrendering the soul into the spirit for more power. And I just really wish you a really powerful year. We all want that personal power, but realize the power comes from within. It's all in here. Your personal power is waiting for you to embrace it and to maintain it, live through it. So anyway, I'm Tonayh Dee. I hope that this was helpful. Go in grace and with grace.